Hi guys. Here we are again. Okay, it's working now. Oh my gosh, sorry about yesterday. Little tip for anybody doing a live stream. If you can't rotate your phone and you're doing it right and it keeps saying rotate, hi Matt, check this. Thank you from Maria Swearingen. She's my go-to tech person, and she sent me a note and said, check and see if your, oh God, Maria, what's it called? Your, hi Steve. Oh, you guys, I'm such a dork. I'm thinking so much right now about midlife crisis, I can't even say it. Portrait. Check and see if your portrait mode has gotten put on lock. Okay, I swear to God I didn't touch this, but it had got put on lock, which means your phone then can't rotate. So I'm giving you that little tip there for any of you that do live streams. If suddenly you can't rotate your phone, you know, yesterday I was like, I am so not going to do a 45-minute teaching or so sideways because it'll drive all of you crazy. I wouldn't want to watch that. So thanks for bearing with me. And we're hanging out here together today. Let me just say hi to a few people. Hi, Emma. Hi, Matt. Hi, Candace. I saw Steve on here. It's so nice that all of you are trying to join me live. Hi, Diane. Hey, Diane. Look. Give me a thumbs up, Diane. I know. Hi, Patricia. Yay. So, you know what I realized? I mean, people are so sweet to me. So this mug, I don't know if you can see it, it's backwards, but it says kindness. I don't think I've ever said this to you, Diane. This is one of my long-term clients. She just gifted me with that this year for no reason, because she's so sweet and thoughtful. And my husband makes me coffee every morning, and guess what mug he grabs almost every single morning, Diane? That one. He knows it's my favorite. I love it. So every day I'm drinking out of that. This necklace I have, it's hard to see. Okay, anyway, client gave that to me. It's really beautiful. And these earrings, my BFF sent me off back home with these beautiful earrings. So anyway, thank you. Think about that. Sometimes little tokens are really sweet. Love languages, mine is mainly like time with people, but isn't it really nice sometimes to just have somebody surprise you with something? It's great. Okay, I just got off track there, but anyway, I saw Diane. Hi, Galen, how are you? So I'm back. I was in New Mexico for the last couple of weeks. Brian and I went down for the balloon fiesta, which I've been to many times, but it's just so much fun. And he loved it, but then he flew back on Saturday, and then I've been there for the last couple of weeks having a great time with the BFF, so it's really fun. Flew back home last night, getting settled in back home. It's really nice to be here. I don't think I mentioned I had a great time there, but one of my favorite things is to hike in the desert. And so I'll do that usually in the morning early before I start working with clients on the phone, or I do it after a full day of clients and I go out, and I mean, it's just gorgeous. They're 10 minutes away. I hop in the BMW, put the top down, and head out for a hike. Well, Sunday morning I fell on my ASS hard, like a week and a half ago. On Melody's hardwood floors. I was coming out of the shower, going to run in and grab another cup of coffee, and my wet foot slipped on the hardwood, and I came down without catching myself. Yeah, really fun. So, I've been in a lot of pain. Emma, I think, is on here. Her husband is a great chiropractor in Albuquerque. Hi, Liz. And so he really helped me, not only with adjustments, but with the lasering techniques that he has, and he does, and it's really helped a lot, but I'm still pretty sore. So if I keep shifting around today, it's just because I'm trying to find a comfortable place to sit. Okay, that's all my news. I'm sure that's really exciting. I'm just kind of waiting for people to get on here. So back in Portland, glad to be here, glad to see the hubby, hoping to see my son Seth and his beautiful wife tonight for dinner. Was really disappointed to not be able to do this live stream yesterday because I'm excited about it. And so many of you are really excited to get this information. So the very first thing, you guys know, grab a journal, grab a pad of paper or something, okay? Because I'm gonna tell you, like I always do, okay, stop, hold on a minute. I want you to star this. I want you to write it down. I want you to be able to go back to this later, or I want you to really, you know, take in what I'm saying about what am I saying most all of my teachings are going to center around? A mindset shift, a shift in your thinking. Okay, we're going to go deeper here. So, hi Brenda, it's so nice to see you. So Brenda, you didn't hear me say grab your journal. Grab your journal, Brenda. Okay, the other thing is I have a request. I was thinking about this just a few minutes ago today. Somebody said to me, God, these are such deep, rich teachings. I love that you're doing it, but why are you giving this away for free? Why aren't you doing online courses and workshops and all that? Why aren't you asking these people to work with you individually and pay you? Well, yes, work with me individually and pay me, okay? I have a handful of private coaching clients, and if you want to be one of those, let's talk. I'm all about making money and helping clients one-on-one. It's an amazing, beautiful process to actually be able to partner with a coach, and I love having, a group of people that I can do that with. The reason I'm doing this is because I have so many people that say, I need these teachings, I need more skills and tools, I can't afford to hire you one-on-one, I'm not in your city so I can't go to the workshops, and I am actually going to put some online courses together this winter. And those should be for a very reasonable price, and I'm hoping people can benefit for those. When I found out about these Facebook live streams, it just seemed like a really beautiful way to be of service and give back. And I'm not joking. Like, that's not like, oh, that sounds really good or it's good marketing. Any of you who know me know that I love talking about all things relationship. So you're here at Revolutionary Love. We're here for this live stream that's weekly on all things love and relationship. Last week it was about dating things. This week we're talking about midlife crisis. Is there really such a thing? So what I was going to say was, I do have a request of you. If these teachings are important to you and you're all just saying like thumbs up hearts, so send me some of those right now if these are important to you and if they've been meaningful to you, your friends, your family, your colleagues, whoever you've shared them with. I'm asking that of you. I'm asking if you appreciate these free teachings and they're helpful. Yes, I'm asking something of you. Will you please take a moment at the end of this to think to yourself, who could really benefit from this? And share it on your timeline. I mean, if you're willing to do that, that's awesome. Share it with a friend. Share it with a family member. Share it with your group. Share it with your spiritual center. I have a group of people that are starting a book club, except without the book. How awesome is this? Hi, Maria, my savior. And they're going to meet every week and then listen to the live stream and have this great talk about it. So that's what you can do for me. If you're asking what you can do in return for these free teachings, what you can do, well, first of all, what you can do is take it to heart. Take it to heart and make this kind of change in your life, because the ripple effect will be powerful. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is you can share this video with anyone, everyone, everywhere you can post it on social media and say, hey, join us here in this Revolutionary Love group. That's what you can do, okay? So yeah? Okay, deep breath. Let's jump in. And here's why I say to you guys that these teachings are important and I want you to listen to them, whether you think that, they apply to you or not. So when we're talking about, dating, are you ready to date again or whatever? If you're in a relationship for 2 years, please listen. It is important to you. It's important because the way that we go in to dating someone, the requirements work, all of that is important for you to know personally. And maybe you can help somebody else, one of your friends who's dating. So midlife crisis, is there really such a thing as a midlife crisis? Yes, there is. And why I want all of you on here listening to this, I already know I've got clients that have gotten a hold of me and said, I can't wait to listen to this or pass this on to somebody, is because if you're going through one right now or you wonder what the hell's going on with you, is this a midlife crisis, you're going to get information. If you're with a partner and you think your partner's going through a midlife crisis, you're going to get great information. If you're divorced and you wonder if that's really what was going on and why you ended up divorced, why this person just checked out and started acting like you're saying crazy or weird, I think you're going to be soothed to understand what really was going on. I also have a couple clients on here that are younger clients of mine whose parents clearly one or both were going through a midlife crisis. And so it's really helpful as a younger person in your 20s to be able to look and go, my gosh, maybe I need to have some compassion for what was going on because I think my parent was going through a midlife crisis. That's why these teachings are important, you guys. So please pass them on to anyone. Anytime we can learn relationship, connection, emotional maturity skills and tools, it's helpful to us, whether you think it applies to you right now or not, okay? All right. So I already answered that first question that we have there. Is there really such a thing as a midlife crisis? Yes, hell yes. And most all of us, I'm going to tell you, are going to go through it. I've been through it. Absolutely. So there's a couple of things. Here's where you grab your pen, grab your paper, put your stars, okay? Hi, Stephanie. Here's the first note I want you to take. Yes, a midlife crisis is real, and yes, more than likely, all of us are going to go through it, and probably more than once. But especially at a period in your life, I can't hold it to a certain years, but what I find right now is it's normally very late 40s, right up through early 60s. And especially we're looking at the 50s. That's a really, really common and classic time for somebody to go through what we call a midlife crisis. What is a midlife crisis? Got your journal? Pen? Ready? It is about meaning. It's a crisis of meaning. It's when we start looking at our life and say, what I call, this has been my thing my whole life, what's it all about, Alfie? That period where we look around, and that's why it's normally those years. We're in our younger years, we're striving, we're meeting people, we're getting married, or we're getting divorced, we're building our careers, we're sailing kind of through all that period and through our 30s. By our 40s, maybe we're married, maybe we have kids, maybe we're deep into our careers, maybe we're traveling, okay? But it starts to kind of wind down towards the end of our 40s, and we look and we go, what is this all about? How the H did all this time go by already? And especially if we're looking at being in a marriage, being in a long-term marriage, where we look back, I'm just pulling a number out of the hat here, we look at 20 years with somebody, and we look and we go, oh my God, like what is going on? I'm looking at my partner, and we almost feel like roommates. I almost feel like I don't even know you. And then we're hitting our 50s, maybe that whole period. Maybe our kids are graduating from high school, and we see that there's going to be a huge transition in our life. They're going off to college or out into the world. Maybe we've been in our job, our careers for a lot of years, and we've been successful, and it's been fun, and it's been great. But all of those things together sort of end up with this package that we sit in front of us and go, my God, what the hell is this all about? And then this question, this very low-grade, quiet question of, is that all there is? Like, is this my life? I'm aging. I look in the mirror. I can't believe what I see. I don't feel that way. I still feel like I'm about 29 or 30. I've been in this job forever, and it's not feeling very thrilling or exciting to me anymore. And then I'm going to bring this now to the relationship piece. We've got a lot of people sitting in marriages, long-term marriages, who are looking at their partner and going, ready? Okay, you heard me say this and post this before, and saying, I love you, but I'm not in love with you. Or they say to a friend, I love her, but I'm not in love with her anymore. Or you say to your friend about your husband, I love him. I do know I love him, but I'm not in love with him anymore. I don't know if there's a line that's more painful to hear from a spouse, from a partner, from a long-term partner. Long-term, I mean, 5 years on through a 25-year, 30-year marriage, than to have your partner look at you and say, I love you, but I'm not in love with you anymore. Man, oh man, oh man. That one is painful. And if you've been the one to say it, to feel like that was absolutely your truth, and it felt like you needed to share from your heart that with your partner, it is a painful thing to say to somebody. Have any of you said that? Have any of you actually been the partner or the spouse who has had, or at least had or felt like you've needed to say that to your partner? I'm not going to call you out. Give me a heart or a thumbs up. I want to know who we've got on here, who's been in that position too, where you felt like, I've fallen out of love with my spouse. Anybody? Come on, I've been there. In my early years, I didn't understand what was going on. Who's been on the receiving end of that? Anybody give me a thumbs up? We don't have to give a heart on that one. Anybody give me a thumbs up on that you heard, you know what, I love you, but I'm not in love with you anymore. Yeah. This is a really tough one. So I want to tell you what's going on with that. If you've been listening to these live streams, got another thumbs up on that. If you've been listening to these live streams, then you've heard me say this many times. Ready for your pen and your journal? Okay, put a star around this. What do you hear me talk about all the time? Whether we are talking about dating, in a relationship for a couple years, trying to decide whether to stay or go, in a long-term marriage, what have you heard me talk about over and over and over and over and over and over and over? Emotional connection. When things start breaking down, spiraling downhill, you find yourself in a constant power struggle, you're having a looping argument about the same thing over and over and over, you start to feel like roommates, all of these things, it is not, please write this down, it is not your communication skills. Yes, I can probably help many of you with your communication skills, but that is not the problem. It's the emotional connection. All of you should be able to repeat this with me right now. It's the emotional connection that's been getting stretched too thin. It's the emotional connection that's getting broken down. And in a long-term relationship or a long-term marriage, many times that's been going on for like an average of 5 or 7 years. So think about this. Stay with me here. If that emotional connection has been breaking down and getting stretched thin for years, and you didn't know what to do about it, but you knew, boy, we are not feeling like a team. We are not feeling like a we. It doesn't feel like we have that bond where, how I always explain it, that emotional bond, I'm always point to my heart here, where that feeling with your partner, when you feel like I have your back and you have mine, I just naturally know that and feel that, what you felt in the beginning, that emotional connection. Not lust, not infatuation, not a high. Emotional connection. When that's gotten broken down for a long time, now we take that lack of emotional connection and we bring it right up with this period of time. Boom. 50s, late 40s, 50s, where we look around and go, what the hell is this? Is this all it's about? This is what life's about? This is the job I've had for 15 years and I got no passion for it anymore? When we add that in and they look over, you look over at your partner and you go, this is it? This is the marriage we have? Everything feels flat. We feel like roommates. Can you see the perfect storm here? This is what creates a midlife crisis. Okay, another thing I want you to make a note on. Grab your pen, grab your journal. This period of time doesn't have to be a midlife crisis. It's a period of looking at meaning. It's a period of feeling like we don't We don't have a sense that we have enough meaning in our life anymore. Things don't feel as meaningful. We don't feel passion for what we used to feel passion for anymore. Our partner, our hobbies. Maybe we don't even have anything we do outside the marriage anymore. Our careers. We're losing a sense of meaning in our life. If we put that up against a relationship that's been allowed to just go flat, that's when we use the word crisis, because it can absolutely feel like a midlife crisis. Understanding what's going on can be powerful. That's why I'm thrilled all of you are here listening to this. Because maybe you know somebody who's moving into this stage. Maybe you can help somebody else. I'll help you, you help somebody else, okay? Just understanding that this period doesn't have to be a midlife crisis. It can be a midlife opening, a midlife period that we acknowledge and affirm that, yes, this is a period of transition. Absolutely. So when I went through this, I was single. This was, I don't know, how old was I? I think I started going through it, I felt it pretty intensely right around 54 or 55. And at that period, I was single again. And I personally love being single, so that really wasn't the problem. My son was off in college. I was thrilled about that. He was doing great. Everything looked good. And boy, I hit a place, I'm a person who hits the what's it all about Alfie place in my life about every 10 years. But I hit this big time. And even not being in a marriage, I look back and I was like, oh my God, I divorced. Was it the right thing to do? Will I ever be in a relationship again? I love coaching, but where am I going to go with my business? Am I just going to do one-on-one coaching for the rest of my life? Oh my God, I want to travel. I haven't been traveling. I don't know why I wasn't traveling. All the things you just look and you go, what's going on? And I went through it, probably lasted a good 18 months. It's when I moved to Albuquerque for half a year. I think many of you heard me tell that story where I was just sitting there and I have a pinky swear with the universe or God or my higher power or whatever you want to call it, that if I hear things 3 times, I can't say no. Like I have to listen. And I heard the first time, put all your things in storage and move to Albuquerque. And I was like, oh, that sounds like fun. When I heard it the 3rd time, I did. And it was really part of this midlife change, transition, looking for something to light me up, looking for something new, looking for more passion in my life, looking for excitement. So now let me take that back to what goes on in a midlife crisis, in a marriage, in a long-term relationship, if that emotional connection's gotten broken down for a long time. And now, during that period, you feel all of this confusion and feelings. We're looking for what's wrong, right? When we feel all these things in our life, at any period of our life, human nature is, right, we look for what the problem is, don't we? Give me a thumbs up on that. Don't we automatically look and go, well, what's the problem? Come on, somebody. Tell me this is right. If there's something going on in our life that feels weird or confusing or whatever, thank you. Don't we automatically, human nature is that we don't just write it out and allow the process to play out, do we? Some of us who are getting really good at walking a strong spiritual path or have a good, solid morning practice are becoming more inept at doing that. Yeah, I'm getting tons of thumbs up on this. So that's why I want you to stay with the spiritual practice. And that's why I want you to honor these things that we go through as processes. But human nature is, we immediately go, what the F is wrong? Where can I, it's not even a blame thing, but we do look for blame. Where can I blame? Where can I point a finger? Or where can I at least say, what's causing my problem? Because what's the thing we want to do as human beings? We want to immediately get out of pain. We don't like being uncomfortable at all. At all. That's the other. Okay, grab your pen, journal. A sign of personal growth is our ability to sit with our discomfort. Let's just make sure we write that one down. Go back to that one. A sign of our maturity, our emotional maturity, is being able to sit with discomfort and pain and actually have it inform us. But human nature is, we hit a midlife crisis period and we go, ourselves, it feels so weird. Along with a partner looking at us going, what are you doing? You are acting so strange. And we want to have an answer for ourselves, not really for the other person. During midlife crisis, you kind of have an attitude of, honestly, you're like, screw everybody. But we want the answer ourselves. One of the most common things that we do in a long-term relationship or a marriage when we hit this place is we look immediately to our marriage or partnership and we say, it must be this that's causing me that problem. It must be this. And then follow me here. And the next line of thinking is, I look at my partner, I think it must be my marriage that's causing me to feel this way. Oh my God, it is. I love her, I love him, but I'm not in love with her. I'm not in love with him. And there we have our answer. Oh my gosh, that's what it is. Ready for this one? I've fallen out of love. Oh my gosh, that's what it is. That's why I'm in this place. That's why I feel this way. That's why I feel so flat, so unexcited, so passionless. That's what the problem is. I'm in this long-term marriage. I still have warm, caring feelings and even some feelings of love for this person that I've spent 25 years with or 10 years with or whatever. But that's what happened. I fell out of love with them. I'm not in love with them. Are you following me here, this line of thinking? And what do we do when we come up with the answer for ourselves? For most of you, I'm hoping on a spiritual path. We do deep reflective work. Okay, well, guess what? Human nature, especially during a midlife crisis period or a midlife transition period, we're in pain and uncomfortable too. We want to solve the problem. So what most of us do is start to put that immediately on the partner and on the marriage. It's the partner that's the problem, and it's the marriage that now is not working for me anymore. Ready for this one? Put a big star around this one, you guys. We don't just fall in and out of love with people. Ooh, that's a new bit of information, isn't it? That's a new bit of information because society, ads, social media, our world, our families, our girlfriends, all tell us that we fall in love or we fall out of love. And guess what, my friends? That is not true. Think about that for a minute. Are you agreeing with me? Because most people at this point will quietly say to themselves, yeah, I don't think that's right. I have actually fallen out of love with someone, or I remember falling in love. You know, let's take Brian and I remember falling in love with him. No, I didn't. I thought I fell in love before in my other relationships and in my marriage, but at least I was old enough and had enough skills and tools and enough education at the point that I met Brian 2 years ago to know that everything I was feeling, everything that was going on, was not me falling in love. It was Brian and I coming together, having chemistry and an attraction. Absolutely, I believe in chemistry. Using our requirements to see if we really had values that were in alignment, requirements that were being met which when they are, intimacy starts to get created, and then starting to have an emotional connection be formed, an emotional bond. That's what's really happening when we're talking about falling in love. Okay, let's apply it to falling out of love. If someone is saying they've been with somebody for years or whatever, we know they're compatible, we know that requirements have been met if they've been together that long, and they suddenly are saying, oh my God, I think I have just fallen out of love with this person. You know that's not the case. What are they describing? All of you are my beautiful students. You can answer it right now. Who wants to put in the comments right now? If they're not falling out of love, what are they feeling? What are they sensing? What's happening? What's missing? I'm going to sit here and wait for somebody. Kelly, come on, give it to me. Come on, somebody. I just said it at the beginning of this. What's happening? Come on, be my good students. They're not falling out of love. You guys have just acknowledged that the emotional connection's not there anymore, that they don't feel the emotional connection anymore, and that gets interpreted. Thank you, Maria, my star student. Can you see what I'm saying? This is so important, and it's not just important in this midlife crisis talk that I'm giving. This is so important in almost any conversation we're going to have here about meaningful relationships and connections and love. So let's apply it right here. I want to make sure that you really can see this and anchor this. Because then we have these feelings, and then we act on our feelings, and we're acting on feelings that we shouldn't be acting on. In a midlife transition or a midlife crisis, when we look at our partner, our marriage, and we go, oh my God, I feel nothing for you anymore. What has happened? Oh, I should end the marriage because I think I've fallen out of love. You got to have compassion for somebody who feels that. So any of you who are divorced and are still furious, frustrated, and hurt about your ex bailing on this marriage or going off and having an affair or whatever this person has done, you can feel as angry and frustrated as you want about the behaviors. But please, I am asking you, because I want healing for you, please have compassion for the confusion that a person feels in this midlife transition period, where you look around and everything feels boring, flat, almost scary. I have been there. I look around, you go, this is it? Oh my God, man, this is it? And by the way, now I'm in the last half of my life, or for me, I was like, I'm in like the last third of my life, and this is it? And I'm looking at my face and my skin, and I'm going, when did I age? What happened? And I'm looking at everything. I'm going, I'm single. I'll probably never meet somebody again. I mean, it is a scary, confusing time. I'm asking you to just have compassion for anybody that's going through that. I'm asking for you to have compassion for yourself if you're going through that. And if you're going through that in your 40s, please don't downplay it and say, well, I guess it can't be that. If you're going through it at any time, if you're in your 30s and you're going, well, Barb, I'm kind of feeling a lot of that. Great, it's a transition. We go through all kinds of stages in our life, and we need to honor them. But we need to feel our feelings and sit with them long enough to allow those feelings to inform what's going on with us, but don't just act on those feelings. Don't just go, I don't feel like I'm in love with that person anymore, and then go, boom, okay, well, I guess I need to bail out of here. And that a lot of times is why a midlife transition turns into a midlife crisis, because we already feel so empty and so weird. I just always said, like, I feel so weird. And I got to tell you honestly, I'm kind of embarrassed to say this. I felt a lack of caring for a lot of things. even some people, but mainly I felt a lack of caring about stuff. The ways that I love to be of service or be thoughtful or do things nice for people or give in this way, I'd be like, nah, I don't really care. I don't really care right now. I mean, it was weird. And I know people looked at me and wondered what was going on, but I was probably harder on myself than anyone. I knew I was not acting like myself and something strange was going on. The other piece, though, that happens during a midlife transition, which is really awesome and cool, is that it feels like we're braver. It feels like we're willing to take more risk. We get more interested in losing weight and getting in shape and, starting to look more fashionable again. And yeah, some of it's out of fear of aging, but some of it's like we just go, God, I'm going to throw caution to the wind. I said I was going to travel. I'm just taking that money out of the bank and I'm doing it. I don't care. The challenge is a lot of times like, I don't care what my wife thinks. I don't care what my husband thinks. I'm doing it. I'm going with the girls. I'm going on a 2-month cruise. Screw you. Bye. See you later. That's a lot of that energy of a midlife transition, a midlife crisis. Okay, for any of you that are going through this with a partner maybe is the one going through a midlife change, midlife transition, looking at everything and doing the what's it all about, Alfie. Here's the best thing that you can do to be a good support. Think about human nature again. Okay, we don't like to be told what to do. We don't like to be told like, what the hell's going on with you? You're acting so weird. You do that, forget it. Plus, you're this person's loving partner. Even if you've forgotten that, now's the time to really remember this, okay? So what do we count on from a loving life partner? Empathy, compassion, listening, being the best gift we could give somebody, anybody at any time, is being a compassionate, good, empathetic listener. During a midlife transition, and especially if it's turned into a midlife crisis, where you guys have not had that emotional connection for a long time, and your partner's looking at you thinking you are the problem or our marriage is the problem. I love you, but I think I've fallen out of love with you, and I think we need to get divorced. The best thing you can do is to try to create sacred space, big, wide, open, sacred space for your partner. To really just gently say things to them like, let me just give you some sentences, okay? Hey, honey, man, I really can feel that you're going through a big transition now. And maybe you point to whatever it is. You're not telling your partner what's going on with them. You're not analyzing them. But maybe you can point to something. Boy, I've really seen you kind of go into this hard place since our last one headed off to college. I get it. I feel it too. It's a weird feeling around the house, isn't it? Maybe your partner has said something about their work, just feeling like, God, I used to love this. I can't stand it anymore. I don't care about it. I get up in the morning. I could care less if I go to work. Maybe I'll just quit and start my own restaurant. Okay, the worst thing you could do would be like, are you kidding me? What is your problem? Don't do anything crazy. You've been acting nutty lately. That's not helpful. It's a good way to get a divorce. I'm not saying that you can keep your partner from heading toward a divorce or anything else. I am telling you that this is the time that you need to be a compassionate, loving partner. And by the way, you need to get this back anyway. We need to get this connection back anyway. So the best thing you can do is to have these conversations where you are empathizing. Maybe you say, boy, I've really heard you lately talk about just how flat, this feels, your career, your business, or whatever. I can imagine, gosh, honey, you've been doing this 18 years. I get it. And then bring yourself into it. I think we're going, excuse me, I think we're going through a phase in our life. Don't make it about you, but you can empathize and say, I think I'm going through some of this myself too. I really notice that I'm feeling a little bit strange. I'm sorry, you guys. Point to maybe something that you can empathize with or relate to, but keep it about your partner. Add in, you know what, hon? I'm just here for you. You don't need to be in any different place than you're in right now. I love you. I don't need you to do anything different. I don't need you to feel better. I don't need you to be happier. I don't need you to snap out of it. I don't need you to do anything different. I love you. I'm here for you. I understand this feels like a weird time. And what I would love, sorry you guys, talking too much, is if we could just continue to check in. I would really love that. I love you, and I would love it if you would give me the opportunity to just be able now and then to just kind of listen to how you're doing and what's going on for you. I don't need to solve anything for you. I'm certainly here to listen to you, and if you want to throw something around or, we want to try something new or different, we can. But I want you to know that I hear you and I see you and I know that this is a big transition time. That's the greatest gift that you can give to a partner that's going through a midlife crisis. If you're going through that or that midlife period and it has turned into a crisis, please sit your partner down and open this conversation. Be proactive and start to work on building back that emotional connection yourself if you're the one going through it. And be authentic and honest. If you need to say, boy, I notice that I just feel completely disconnected from you, say that, but also take ownership of it. Don't do it in a blame way. Say, I know that I have had a part, half of us getting to a place where we feel like roommates. I know everything else in my life feels weird and flat and boring or whatever, and I'm going to be responsible for figuring out what I need to really find some fulfillment again and meaning again in my life. But in terms of our relationship, I really want to start to connect with you again. And let's just do it in small ways, starting to do, fun things together again, starting to have warm, connection again, starting to have interesting conversations again. And maybe where we start is just these kind of short little intimate conversations where we simply tell each other the truth with no blame, no criticism. And let's make sure that we continue to hold hands through this. We don't need to be in a different place. We just need to hold hands and say, we will ride through this together. We're going to do this together, okay? I don't want to end on the negative, but I do want to tell you that this is a period, if it hits the crisis point, this is the period where a lot of times somebody starts an emotional affair or a full-blown affair. And that is because of what I said earlier. They really, truly believe that they've fallen out of love. And so instead of just racing right towards divorce, they're very, very susceptible to anything that feels good, energizing, high, exciting, anything, because that's what's missing in a person's life where they're going through this big shift and change. They're feeling like they're aging. They're feeling like they're not relevant. Everything feels boring. We're looking for something that feels exciting. So I think it's really important to realize it's work on that emotional connection right away. I see a question coming up and I want to look at it really quick. Say that thing about not being able to sit is discomfort again. Yeah, let's do. You know what? I'm going to end on that, Maria. So thank you. It is worth absolutely saying again. Absolutely. So let me end here, you guys. Let me end with the scary bad news, and then let me complete this with the good news and what we can do. If the emotional connection has gotten broken down and we've reached this midlife kind of place where you're looking at everything, that's when a person feels like they've fallen out of love, and it really does seem like maybe it's the marriage that needs to end. So immediately, it's the emotional connection that you need to start working on, and giving somebody a lot of space, empathy, and compassion for this transition period, and speak about it as a transition period, a midlife transition period. That's what's going on, okay? And it's very real. And so somebody needs that affirmed, that it's very real and that you're there for them. You're probably going through it yourself too. But remember, if it's the emotional connection that's gotten broken down, this is the time when somebody is so susceptible to having an emotional affair. Okay, that means not physical, but all these emotional needs are getting met. And that can turn in very quickly from an emotional affair to a full-blown physical affair. An affair is very addictive. It is like a drug. And that, once an affair starts, will shoot somebody out of a marriage quicker than anything, because it is so, so addictive. So I want you to know that. That's why I want you to work on this emotional connection, okay? Let me speak to any of you that are in a marriage right now and you haven't waited 5 or 7 years for this emotional connection to keep breaking down, breaking down, breaking down. If you feel right now that, wow, you know, that emotional connection is getting stretched a little thin, please don't be my clients who tell me, well, we didn't know what to do, so we just ignored it. We didn't know what to do, so I just hoped it would get better. We could feel that we were just, you know, not feeling close. The intimacy was not there, and I don't mean sex. I mean the emotional bond, the emotional connection. But we didn't take it seriously, and so we thought it would just get better later. If I'm talking to you, take that seriously. I don't want you ending up with that emotional connection completely broken down, and then we hit a transition phase and somebody goes spiraling out of the relationship because they believe they fell out of love, and it was because they didn't feel the emotional connection. Okay? All right, Maria, I'm going to do that. I'm going to end this on that important thing that I told you. Write this down if you didn't write it earlier. If you're going through anything, any kind of phase, any kind of transition, any kind of change, I don't care if we're talking midlife transitions right now, or if a couple of live streams back we were talking about but I love him or her, doesn't that mean something? And the answer is, no, it doesn't, and you need to leave this relationship, or anything else we're talking about. The most important thing that you can do, one of the most important skills you can learn, a life skill, is learning to sit with your discomfort. Learning to sit long enough, quietly, with any discomfort that you're feeling, and allow that discomfort to inform you. Do you know what I mean by that? What I mean when I say inform you, that's kind of a spiritual term that we use, is when we sit meditation or sit quietly with our eyes closed or whatever you want to do, but when we sit quietly in self-reflection, what we're doing is opening up spaciousness and quiet space for us to be informed through every vehicle that we have. Mentally, sometimes we'll hear a message that our emotions, our feelings will inform us. We'll suddenly feel really sad grief. It's trying to tell us something. We'll feel a connection to our higher power or spirit or universe or God or whatever, and actually get these nudges or this knowing or an intuitive hit or something about what a next step is. We can't do that rushing through our busy days. We can't. That's why I encourage you to sit quietly and have a morning practice. and to allow ourselves to be uncomfortable enough to sit in the discomfort, not deflect it, and allow ourselves to be informed. We are beautiful, beautiful souls and have these amazing physical bodies, and we get talked to all day long. We need to leave space for that information to keep coming through and to see what our next steps are. So we'll end it on that, everybody. Let's make a personal commitment, if you will, to do two things. To allow yourself to be uncomfortable, to sit in change, to take actions based on discomfort, bravery, risk-taking, not crazy risk-taking, good risk-taking. When we know, maybe I'm going to go in and have a conversation and I'm scared to do it with my partner, to say, I love you and I'm concerned about the place I'm in with you. And I feel like I'm falling out of love and I know that I'm not, but I know that what that means is we're disconnected. Bravery, risk-taking, being bold, sitting with discomfort, being willing to make change in our life that requires us to stretch and grow the levels of our emotional maturity that need attention and growth. Okay? The other thing is, please, please take a moment when I finish this to share this. I'm doing this as a service to you because I love these teachings. I love all of you. And you've said it's making a difference in your world. Please take a moment to share this on your timeline with somebody specifically that you know could use this information, just to let them know the live stream's here so that they can watch anyone that they want to watch. Please help me get these teachings out there. I'm asking you, please, as a favor to me and all of us, you know the ripple effect and that positive influence that we have when we change ourselves. If you bring more people in and grab a hand, we've got all these additional people then that are going to be learning these skills and tools, okay? And then our small groups change, our community changes, and our world changes. Big love to all of you. I am so blessed to have you in my life. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you next week. All right, peace and blessings.